The Portland Trailblazers have their new coach, but Dame Lillard's not happy because of the backlash? Let's talk through all of that. Coming up in about 20 seconds.
All right, so sticking with the NBA, Jay, if you are a fan of the Portland Trailblazers, your anxiety level, which is hopefully usually at a 0 or a 1, is probably at a 5 today with the report that came out recently, just as I say that, Damian Lillard started a live video on the gram. Wonder what he might be talking about. There was a report that came out, this is from Dan Feldman on NBC Sports, that Damian Lillard could leave the Trailblazers due to blowback over the Chauncey Billups hire, one of two coaches that he said he wanted to play for. For those of you who don't know, this backlash to them hiring Chauncey Billups primarily stems from a rape case that occurred in 1997, his rookie season, along with several other Celtics teammates, and I forgot he even was a Celtic.
He was drafted.
Drafted. Yeah. So I forgot. I just don't remember him in that uniform.
Right. Yeah, because he wasn't there very long.
Yeah. So in the sense that he was never criminally charged, I don't believe, but they did settle a civil suit out of court in 1997 for an undisclosed amount with the young lady who accused them of that. So adding to this, Damian Lillard, who endorsed this hire before this aspect of the story came out, has taken a lot of backlash from fans. So from Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, up-and-coming superstar, honestly, as a sports writer, said the enormous backlash from the Trailblazers process to hire a new coach and his concerns on whether a championship contender can be built have become factors that may push Damian Lillard out the door. Lillard has remained loyal to Portland in large part due to the tremendous fan base, but over the last few days, he's seen some of those same fans attacking him on social media for a pending coaching hire he played no part in consummating. So with how many of the Trailblazers fans and just other NBA fans have gone at Damian Lillard about endorsing Chauncey Billups, who may or may not have done certain things in this particular case in 1997, is it fair or unfair to say that this will culminate in Dame Lillard requesting a trade from the Blazers?
Oh, no, I think it's fair. I think it's fair that he could request a trade. The Blazers would be stupid to trade him. I wouldn't trade him. I'd look at him and smile and be like, you know that extension you just signed? You know, you see that extension? That one you just got? Yeah, we've saying you $200 million. No, you're not going anywhere. You're here. You're here. You're here until we can get more value out of you. And there's not much they can get out of him today. I mean, because think about it. Where are they going to trade him to? You have to trade it to a team that's going to get him some good draft picks. That's going to be able to help them get a generational talent. One place he could go, maybe Detroit. You can ship him to Detroit, get the number 1 pick, get Cade Cunningham, and boom, build around him and C.J. McCollum. You technically could do that. But outside of that, I wouldn't be sending him anywhere. I would not be sending him anywhere he wants to go. Because there's no incentive for them to do that. He has years on his contract. If he was an expiring deal similar to everybody else, yeah, you would need to negotiate and figure out something. But that's the one thing a lot of people have to remember when it comes to these extensions and these contracts is most players that get traded because they want to be traded or they have the power of player enablement to move is because their contracts are about to be up and they can just walk.
Right.
So they tell the team, you can make a choice. You take this, you can give it to me willingly. No, you can make a choice. You can either let me walk and get nothing,
right?
Or you can trade me and get picks from somebody,
right?
But no matter what, I'm not re-signing. And I mentioned this in the other video before. It was a bad idea for Dame to sign that extension. I understand his love and loyalty for the city, but if he had any inch of concern about being a contender, in which this Yahoo article was saying is that he's worried that they're not going to be able to build a title contending roster around him, then if that's the case, you shouldn't have signed the extension. He should have been playing free agency and just seeing whether, because to be honest, you probably could have got traded to the Lakers at that point if you really want to go down to LA or even to another contender like that. Your opportunity to get out is kind of diminished because they still got you on the hook for so much money.
With agreeing with a lot of what you said, I think that it's unfair to say that he's going to request a trade. I think that, in a sense, this was his first hire. This is a level of power that not many NBA stars really even get. I don't think even LeBron got to pick Frank Vogel as his coach. He signed off. I mean, I won't even say he signed off on it. He was fine with it. We'll say that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a part of the hiring process the way in which Damian Lillard was. And he's the best player that they've had since probably, Clyde Drexler? So they will make certain concessions for him, just like we talked about with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. So I think that essentially this is his first hire. They didn't get his first choice, J. Kidd, because J. Kidd knew he was going to Dallas, but they got his second choice, Chauncey Billups, who was very much sought after in the NBA head coaching market.
Right.
So I don't think that he's going to walk away from that or this organization that you said, at least vocally, and in action, that he's been very, very loyal to. So I don't think it's that. But I think that despite this Billups hiring, if over the next 2 seasons they have another 1 and done or 2 and done out of the playoffs, then he's going to force a trade. So it will be that. It will be the performance of this team more than that. But I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen because you are not. I don't see any way that they can build unless they get lucky and strike gold in the lottery, in the draft,
or they trade
in the draft.
Kristaps Porzingis,
and
send
something monumental that we don't expect has to happen in order for them to build a championship roster around him in Portland. Something that's been very difficult to do. Have they won a championship in Portland? Or if they have, it was like 50 years ago, right?
Not in my lifetime. I know that
not
much.
My lifetime either.
I was a Clyde Drexler fan, and
right.
so Clyde didn't get a ring there, and nobody in between there got a ring. So, in my understanding, I don't think Portland's ever won a championship. I could be wrong. I'm not looking it up right now, guys. So there's a reason why I'm going to say that answer. There's no reason for me to look it up right now, but I don't believe that they have a championship.
Yeah, so it's not going to be over Chauncey Billups. It's not going to be over this fan backlash because once the season starts.
I was wrong. It was 1977. They did win a chip.
There we go. So once the season starts, no one, in a sense, for good or ill, is going to think about this. Just look at in recent memory with the Sacramento Kings and with the allegations of sexual assault that hung over the coach, Luke Walton's head. But once the season started, nobody talked about that, primarily because they play in Sacramento.
And they're awful.
I won't call them awful. Between De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, they have interesting guys to see. They play an interesting style of basketball.
Every year for like the last 15 years.
They struggle to be successful in Sacramento. But nonetheless, no one was talking about it after that. So I don't think it would be because of that he ultimately walks away from Portland.
Yeah, I can totally see that. The hire, I have been an advocate for the Chauncey piece. I thought he should have probably got the Cleveland job. Cleveland, I think they should have made him president of basketball operations when he was quote unquote offered it, but they lowballed him a lot because he was inexperienced. In that situation, I was a little annoyed. They should have went ahead and just gave him a little bit more money, more realistic money for somebody, not even a fully experienced president, but more of a don't pay him like you're paying a first-year coach.
Because then they end up signing John Beeline? Isn't that who they signed instead of Chauncey Billups?
Well, Chauncey was going to be the president of basketball operations, and then they were going to hire a coach with him. He was going to be in the front office. And he's respected by a lot of players, and that's kind of what you want. You want a coach that's respected by players like that can command an audience, who's won a championship like he has, and has been able to show that he could potentially put together the right X's and O's and help a player like Dame because they're not too far off in size to help him get a chip. But I get the backlash, especially with his history. It sucks that you truly can't be redeemed when it comes to situations like that because there's going to be people out there that's not going to agree with it. And I understand that. I can't even argue it. I'm on neither side of the spectrum with that because I totally get it. Especially with the Becky Hammons piece being added in there. I don't know how that played out and why she wasn't truly considered. But to be honest, that's not a job I wanted her to get. I prefer her to go somewhere where I feel like there's a good chance for success. Because like you mentioned, you made a very good point. If they get bounced out next year, he's going to want out. Period. I don't care what moves they make. He's going to want out. And I wouldn't want Becky Hammons to have to deal with that. I would prefer her being somewhere that she has a chance to actually go 3, 4, 5 years of either building the team or have some success and step ladder up to where that we can see truly who she is, because the biggest issue you run into with a lot of coaches, and we've seen this with black coaches in football, we've seen this even some in basketball, is if you're not successful immediately, people write you off. And I don't want that with her. With Chauncey, people are going to give him more leeway with that situation because there's nothing you can control in Portland. I don't think Portland's going to be a contender. I like Portland. They're not going to be a contender. Period.
No.
Not in the West.
No.
There's no chance for it. Unless they get unless Kawhi Leonard ends up in Portland, there's no chance that they're going to be a contender. And that's just me, joking around here. But for the most part, they need a big piece. They need a really big piece to help them get past because they haven't been able to get anywhere. They got one conference championship, went to the Western Conference Finals once with Dame there in the 8 years he's been in the league.
And got swept.
Badly. So and the only reason why they went there is because everybody else was injured in the West that year. So besides that, I don't see them going anywhere without a very big move, and I just don't see what that big move would be that would get them there.
I don't either.
So we'll see what happens.
He's leaving.